Major wrap-up. We are here live with my fellow Illuminerdi members, Jezer and Corey. I am Joe. Welcome to the show. We're going to be talking Power Rangers today. We got a lot of news that dropped. Before we get into that, I want to thank you guys for joining us on this beautiful Saturday. We already got you guys in the chat. I already see some familiar faces that I know and love, like Erlem and Jared Hodges, Matthew Thompson. Sam is in here. Edward Sanchez, as always, Blackwing. Thank you guys so much for joining us this week. Where are you guys from? That's the first thing I always love asking everybody. Seeing where they're streaming us from, I'd love to know that. But guys, how's your week been?
Corey, you go ahead.
Busy as usual. Same old. Nothing exciting going on at all.
What are you talking about? I saw you you were like hiking with two girls last week.
Yeah, it was last week. You talking about this week?
Chester, how about you, man? I know that you were right now. I'm pretty sure that you're going through these Comic-Con withdrawals because it's been a year since we were there last, and I know that you've been reminiscing a lot about Comic-Con, and even to the point where you've been trying to get your own action figure exclusives. Can you talk to me about the struggle about this Ninja Turtle concert action figures?
I don't know. Echo on my end. How is there an echo? Anyways, I don't know if you guys remember last year it was bad. This year was worse. Last year there was a what do you call it? There was a.
It was a movie Ninja Turtles, right?
No, it was a Shredder. A Shredder and a Splinter set with 2 foot soldiers, and then I was all planned out to get it, and then I went to dinner, and then I didn't get into the con on preview night right away. As soon as I got there, it was I got rid of the echo, so calm down. They sold out that first day, and then I went Thursday. They sold out. Friday they sold out because they were breaking it up. Like, oh, we'll have 1,000 today and 1,000 tomorrow. So with the Comic-Con exclusive for this year, they relegated it to Target, which I thought was going to be fine because at least it wasn't Walmart. Because Walmart, they had the Splinter or the Casey Jones and Raph set, and Walmart does not know how to do exclusives at all. And then so they had this. It was like this Rock Band set. Joe, did you watch the YouTube link I sent you? Or
yeah, I did. I knew what it was after, like when I didn't remember it when you had initially sent it, but I remembered it exactly. Yeah. When you haven't watched the video.
It's just a nostalgia blast. It's like Ninja Turtles. Like every franchise has that little stint where they have like live shows just to capitalize on things. Like Power Rangers had a live show, right? So Ninja Turtles had a live show as well, but they tried to make them like into this Kiss Band thing, and then NECA made this whole set that like they were dressed up. They had like these denim cut off jackets, and it looked super dope. It comes with like a backstage pass, some actual tickets, and some pics and stuff. It's this whole set. It was going for $150 on Target. And then I reached out to Joe. I reached out to probably 10 of my friends, try to help me get this exclusive from Target. It sold within a second. Right. And like they said, oh, we're going to go live at 1. It didn't go live till about like 1:30. And it was up, and then it was gone. And people were pissed.
1:30? Oh, yeah, that's right. Because I literally saw it go up because I texted Jezer around 1. Mm-hmm. And I was like, hey, it's up yet? And he was like, no, it's not up yet. And then for a second, I ended up getting the Target app. It went live for a second. I clicked it, and it said out of stock.
Yep, it went just like that. I don't know if it crashed or something, but
yeah, we were like, that was a glitch. Like, that was weird that they put it up and then took it back down, but I guess they put it up.
Yeah.
And it just sold out within a second. It was crazy.
The crazy thing is, like, it all went up on eBay, and they were going up for, like, $500. The most I saw sold for $1,500, which is crazy.
Jeez.
Which is crazy because I looked on the actual package. On one of the tickets, it says exclusive July 23 to July 27 or something. And then there's another date on it. It says October 8th through 10th. So people are saying that there's going to be another drop of that same set for New York Comic Con. So
really?
Yeah, so I don't even know if New York Comic Con's happening this year, is it?
No announcement yet. No announcement yet.
So they're probably going to do another drop. So they probably have another 1,000 or so ready to go. But yep, pissed me off. I kind of bit the bullet and I did buy it on eBay, but not for 900. I bought it for about 300. Only
Still,
it's still a lot, but like only because that's a set I was super excited about, and it's relatively cheap compared to what people have been buying them at. So, and the person's pretty cool that I got it from.
Now we did ask where all you guys are from. We got Nathan Janke from Ohio, Mikey Nerd Talk. He's from Killian, Texas. We got Jared Hodges from Knoxville, Tennessee. Flash from Chicago, Illinois. Battlestar Galactica is joining us live from Inglewood, California. Matt Thompson in Virginia. We also have, Heirloom from jolly old England. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I did not do an accent there, but thank you guys so much for joining us. Now, let's get into this. A little bit of talk real quick. Now, this week I find very interesting because we've had some drops for Lightning Collection. One was completely unexpected, and the other one was kind of, it was rumored that we were going to be seeing something, but now we know what that is. Let's go with the first thing, and I want to talk about Chase from Dino Charge that just appeared in Northern California. I believe the first spotting was in Modesto, California. I did not see this action figure coming. I did not see Chase a part of the line, but the figure looks beautiful. I went to 2 Targets yesterday. No luck. So what do you guys think about this Chase figure, and what do you think about Hasbro not announcing it to the public? Because technically, it's still a rumor because Hasbro hasn't said it.
Oh,
but honestly, what do you guys think about this figure?
First off, it kind of like plays on to like all the comments coming from the news that we put out that people are saying, "Oh, I'll wait till it's confirmed. I'll wait till it's confirmed." Hasbro wouldn't make moves like this without really thinking it through. But honestly, this is just further proof that Hasbro, as far with they're doing great with the other brands, but as far with Power Rangers they're kind of messing up a little bit. So, I mean, it kind of like helps our case as far as what news we put out. So, I don't know. These Power Ranger fans are like, all up in arms, like, yeah, you guys are talking shit a few weeks ago. Now what? What are you guys thinking about?
Corey, let me ask you about this action figure, because the Lightning Collection is something that a lot of fans are loving. And sometimes you get good ones, and sometimes you get bad ones. And I feel like in Chase's case, we're definitely getting one of the better ones. The head sculpt looks pretty on point. Can you talk to me about the figure that you've been able to observe that either may be inaccurate or stuff that you don't like or do?
Oh, don't get me started.
Oh, God, here we go, Corey.
This is what you're here, buddy.
Corey, here we go.
I just got the Ranger Slayer. I like the figure, but her visor is way too big. If you look at Dan Mora's art for Ranger Slayer, the visor is pretty much unchanged from the regular Pink Ranger, but her visor, their head is so big. It's just so much visor, and it bothers me. But I mean, it's fine. It's not ugly. It's just different from the art.
And now this is our third Dino Charge figure, and also our third cast member that was also returning for the big team up that we got in Power Rangers. That's a spoiler, by the way. In Power Rangers Beast Morphers, a lot of you guys already know that though. But we already got 3 Dino Charge figures, and also Trent from another Dino figure is also coming. Not the best sculpts on Trent. A lot of people have been saying it feels like there's a lack of the paint job. Can you talk to me real quick about what you guys have saw and have seen with this paint job with Chase, though? Because it does look remarkably better than the Lightning Collection White Range.
I don't understand how they can do. I think the amount of paint on Dino Charge Black is just as much as on the White Dino Thunder. So I don't understand how they're missing that. I think it's an error as opposed to a budget thing. That's what I'm thinking.
With the White Dino Thunder, everything looks amazing except for the helmet. Like just the red and black on the helmet. Everything else looks great.
I'm not super excited about that head sculpt though. That Trent head sculpt does not do it for me.
Really? It kind of looks like him.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. To me, it's not as bad as Rocky.
Rocky's looks bad.
Rocky's does look bad, but it's not the best for me. Now, one thing that after we got this drop of Chase, there was this rumored price point for a higher budget.
Hold on, something's going on.
What we knew was in the Dino era. There was a lot of speculation who that Ranger was. For all the way from, I've seen people say that it could have been an Omega Ranger. I saw people say that it could have been a battleized Ranger. I think I saw somebody say it was Connor's battleized Triassic form. But now we know that we get this Lord Drakken figure. First and foremost, I want to talk about it because this one did drop. It seemed like it dropped officially from Hasbro, if I'm correct. Talk to me about this figure because it looks beautiful. This is the third evolution of Drakken. What do you guys think about this?
Corey?
It's neat. I mean,
it's neato.
It's neat. It's his third form. There aren't too many great figures for me to really give an opinion about it. They're all really from a distance. Like, it's showing off his green effect in the helmets. Like, I'm not seeing the figure up close to where I can see details and things that may irk me.
What would you be looking for though? I mean, like,
I'm just like in my head, I have this scary knowledge of detail of like Power Ranger costumes and stuff, and I always know what's missing and what should be present.
Corey, you need to change your Instagram name to Corey the Gatekeeper.
Originally, when I heard about the rumblings of this Dino figure, I actually thought it was going to be the Green Ranger from that they just announced, that Bat in the Sun style figure. But I think it looks pretty cool. Like, I definitely like the effect that they have with this Hasbro figure. You know what it reminds me of? The Evo 3 of Tommy, or a Drakken. It actually reminds me of the Black Widow figure that they just put out, the movie Black Widow figure, that has a little bit more detail into it and comes with the background and everything. I actually think the figure looks pretty cool.
I think it looks cool.
It should have came with his chair.
What's that?
The throne.
Oh, the throne? Yeah, you know what? There's a few thrones on Etsy, a few Drakken thrones on Etsy that I think look pretty cool that I would think about investing in. But I feel like it's only a matter of time until we get the thrones from Hasbro officially. So I think I'll wait to get one officially.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Because right now we would be in San Diego Comic-Con. We'd be probably at a Power Ranger panel. We're missing Comic-Con, obviously. Last year's Comic-Con, we had a great experience with Austin St. John. Comic-Con, though, Jezer, what do you think Power Rangers would have announced this year? Because I can tell you what they wouldn't have announced is that them splitting up from Toy. But what do you think they would have announced?
Oh man, what would they have announced? I think this
Power Rangers as in Hasbro.
I'm talking, Corey. I'm talking.
All right, I'm sorry.
I think that this Drakken figure was going to be something that they would have announced. I think that's something that they were holding back on and waiting for something from them to bring out, and I think that's the situation. Who knows? Like, well, technically, Comic-Con's gonna end tomorrow. We could be getting more toy drops within the next, if today or even maybe tomorrow. It's still early to tell, but this is. I mean, they definitely would have had something to bring out. Like, this is a coming out in September, the Drakken one. This could have been the Power MorphCon exclusive.
You're right. It could have been the Power MorphCon exclusive. Now, the question I have is that are we going to get a Hasbro panel about the Lightning Collection for the San Diego Comic-Con at home? Is that something that is going to be a panel either today or tomorrow?
Let me look at the schedule.
You would have heard about it if they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we would have heard something about it too. So maybe this is their way of getting that information drop in there. Now, it's pretty crazy though, because San Diego Comic-Con would have been a lot of fun for us to cover, and we know that there's a ton of Power Ranger comic book news. Corey, are you caught up on all the comics?
Yeah, I just need to read the TMNT crossover, the last one, and Ranger Slayer. I have it, but I haven't read it yet.
Now, Ranger Slayer is the one that people have been going crazy for. I have yet to cover it, we're yet to read it, and I definitely will. But right now, the direction the Power Rangers comics are going, do you think this is the right move for Power Rangers, Corey?
I'm really confused. All right. So Ryan Parrott mentioned that the Mighty Morphin going forward is not going to tie into the show anymore. So that means, is it going to diverge into its own thing? And then apparently I thought the coinless universe is done, but then that picture that came out. I don't know if that was real or not.
I was gonna ask you. Like, I saw a picture and it had like a new head sculpt for Ranger Slayer. I was like, is this? It looks weird. Like, it looks.
Oh no, that's a spoiler for the end of Ranger Slayer 1.
Yeah,
so
and
I thumbed through Ranger Slayer. I was like, oh, I like that.
There's the like unknown Ranger. There's a brand new Ranger in there as well. I mean, honestly,
it's like Eclipser and Astronomer's Forces and the Coinless. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's pretty cool though.
What was the name of the artist that made the look for Drakken? I remember he was on Instagram for a while.
Dan Mora.
No, there wasn't like an independent artist that kind of like put together the look for.
I think it was Jamal. Wasn't it Jamal that did it? The original Drakken layout. Is it a Dan or Jamal?
Wasn't it like Art of Tran or something?
No, I think that was you mean that design, that Art of Tran design. It was like they were teaming up like the King Ranger for Jason and stuff like that.
Yeah, because I think that's initially where I saw the first like the render of Drakken with the Green Ranger and White Ranger put together.
Hold on, I got an answer. Just let me dig it up real quick.
Okay, but anyways, like,
well, yeah. So look, I have something else to make an announcement about. So we're in the talks, or we're in the works of having a Kamen Rider show coming on pretty soon, and it's going to be with some people, maybe a couple of you guys that are in the chat right now, but it's definitely going to have a great cast that you guys are all familiar with in the Ranger community. So I'm excited about that. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're going to roll out more programming for you guys, which we're extremely excited about. We're going to get a Kamen Rider show in there, another bringing back Morphin Mondays in a different format. There's going to be another Star Trek show eventually and a news show because we break so much news. And I know that a lot of people are thinking, well, it's fake news. Actually, we're going to respond to that directly. So here's what we're doing. All the exclusives that we've dropped on the Illuminerdi, and I can go over every single one of them. I actually did a deep dive into every single exclusive we've ever dropped on the Illuminerdi. Yes, there's a ton that have been unconfirmed right now. But however, there's been a good amount that have been confirmed right. With that being said, zero, as of right now, zero have been inaccurate. We don't have any that we've missed on yet. Again, there's a lot that are unconfirmed, but we are going to be doing videos for that because that's one thing that we get questioned on, especially in the Ranger community, is our credibility. Well, now we're going to put our money where our mouth is, and we're going to show that we're going to stand behind our stories. So that's going to be something to look forward to. With that, also, the Kamen Rider show I'm really excited for. It's going to be some familiar faces talking Kamen Rider that have a pretty extensive knowledge about Kamen Rider. When's the last time the two of you have watched Kamen Rider?
Ooh, I kind of got into
episode of 01. That was about it.
I started what was that one that was really terrible? What was it? It was the anniversary episode, the one right before 01. I'm blanking on the name.
Zio?
Huh? Zio? Yeah, that one. That was terrible. Like, after that high off of Build, like, coming to that show, I was just like, God, I fucking hate this show. I hate this show, like, with a passion. It wasn't good. Not good at all.
Well, I'm excited to start this new Kamen Rider show up because I think that it's going to, especially the people that we got on it. I don't know if I'm allowed to say their names. I can see one of them right now in the chat, but it's going to be pretty awesome. It's going to be pretty awesome. Now, I do want to talk about our new Patreon. Our Patreon has been updated. You could go check that out. We are still going full-fledged with Power Rangers Cosmic Protectors, but also that Patreon now is going to encompass all of our Power Ranger and Tokusatsu content. So if you're a fan of what we do, I think that's going to be pretty fun and cool to check out. Corey, do you have an update on the thing that you were looking at?
Yes, the original design for Drakken, I'm pretty sure was Jamal. I forget his last. But the Drakken evolutions are pretty. Looks like it's Daniela because all the concept art is his artwork.
Nice.
Let's. What are people talking about in the chat?
They're pretty excited about the Kamen Rider show, so that's good. But you guys gotta let people know. You gotta let people know that we're gonna be doing a Kamen Rider show and show up for these people that we're bringing on because they're dedicating their time to connect with you guys about shows that you really love, and it'll really be nice if you guys made it worth their time, because it does take a lot of work, and I know that you guys have been asking for it for a long time after Henshin Hangout ended. So yeah, if you guys gotta keep the number, you gotta keep the views up, just make it worth it, because this Ranger show, we get a good amount of viewers in the show every week, but we also have a ton of other content that we know you guys would enjoy because it's up your alley, but you guys don't show up. Just because it's not Power Rangers doesn't mean it's not good. You guys gotta take a chance. It's like me when I'm watching like Netflix shows. Like I'll always relegate to watching the same shit over and over. But every time that I kind of explore outside of those normal shows that I watch every time, I do find a lot of them that I enjoy and I love. So I mean, that's the same situation with this. Joe, I know you and Josh have the Riker. Is it the Riker maneuver coming up right after this?
Yes, that is
so. You guys, Star Trek's coming back, especially with CBS. You guys need to check it out, because what are you guys revisiting? Enterprise?
Yes, Star Trek Enterprise. It's actually a lot. It's really cool. It's a really good concept.
So
for sure.
I think it's a lot of fun. And then I know tomorrow they're doing Lost Galaxy on Retro Ranger wrap up, and Josh and Daniel and Elle have come a long way, like rewatching these series, and kind of like it's nice to relive some of these episodes with newcomers and seeing their take on things. So it's nice to see that take on it. So if you guys just show up, because it's gonna be a lot of fun, and they spend a lot of time and are very devoted to those shows that they're on.
Yeah, we also have wrestling on Sundays too. So if you're a wrestling fan, check that out. I think those guys are some of the best people to do it in the business. Now, one thing that we're looking for is for you guys. If you guys want to contribute to the Illuminerdi, whether that be on social media, whether that be writing articles, whether that be doing anything, let us know. You can hit us up at media@theilluminerdi.com. Shoot us over an email, and we will get right back to you. Now, back to more Power Rangers. All right. So we know that the future of Power Rangers is kind of unknown, at least in terms of what we expect it to be. We know that the casting is still moving on for Dino Fury, and we also are getting a ton of Lightning Collection action figures coming up soon. For the horizon of Power Rangers, and we also got Boom Studios, but for what's on the horizon of Power Rangers, what's the thing that excites you the most as a fan?
Corey? He's like, more Red Ranger content. I want to see more of Austin St. John, because I want that D.
All about Jason. I want to know where the Tyrannosaurus powers came from. More comic book stuff.
More comic. Yeah, I'm with that. What about you, Jezer?
Doing it right.
I'm really happy with. Despite, like, I know a lot of people are pretty mad about like paint jobs on toys and promotion on the toys. I'm happy with the toys. I don't really care if they promote it too much or whatever. Like, I'm just happy to see that they're continuing on with them. And I know a lot of people aren't. There are a lot of people that aren't on board with it, but I'd be super open to the idea of an animated show, and I think that just brings the franchise to another level. What I would want also actually is a decent video game, a decent type of video game. Like, I know a lot of people love that fighting video game, but if you take it out of the spectrum, if you take it out of like take off your little fandom goggles and figure out, like, compare it to a lot of other fighting games, it's not that great. And these microtransactions and these releases of what I think the latest one that they had is like the Green Samurai Ranger. It's like, why are we just not
talking about the phone game or the console one?
The console one. Like,
the Green Samurai was for the phone one.
Oh, for the phone one. But like, what I'm talking about is like, there's so many characters that they got on the phone game that they weren't already implemented when they released the console game. It's like, why are you guys holding stuff like that back? You guys are just as bad as EA when it comes to like releasing stuff. Like, I don't know. The game is not that impressive. Like, Unjustice and even the new Mortal Kombat. way like levels and levels above this fighting game. But I think the only thing that keeps it going is like the fandom, like because they get to see. Yeah, I get it. Like it's nice to see that they still have a game, but you guys need to realize they're screwing you over with some of the stuff they got. They have all these characters that they could be implementing, but they're giving you like what 20 characters in the span of 27 years of Power Ranger characters, and you're relegated to like 20 characters you can play as. That's something that they need to fix. So if Hasbro wants to like go in and do some type of a new format for a game or a different game for it, I'd be totally down with it.
Yeah, I want a new Power Ranger Adventure game.
Okay, well, let's get into the chat. Jezzer, what are people in the chat excited to see about on the horizon? Power Rangers?
Well, somebody said, what do you call it? Abram, the realtor, said, "I want the comic to now go into new seasons." Blackwing says, "Yeah, exactly, a hack and slash Power Rangers game. Yeah, that would be amazing. That'd be really fun." Sam Snoswell says, "Tokuger the Tank Engine." LOL. Oh, he's talking about like maybe a crossover with Thomas the Tank Engine. Nako Bass says, "Most excited for Dino Fury. Never watched PR after watching the Super Sentai's first, like Ryu Soldier." Jaden Grove says, "If they do an animated, don't replace the live action show for animated." Well,
too late.
Yeah, it's gonna happen there, Jaden Groves. I think that after Dino Fury, they're gonna just try it out. I mean, every time a new owner gets it, they keep using the same format, and it doesn't perform as well as they think it would. Despite like there being some advancements as far as like their storytelling and the toys and all that, they really have been, shitting the bed with some of like the marketing for these shows. So unless they come up and they move to another network, someone that appreciates them more, I think it's going to be an animated show, and I think that that could be the future for us. And I think you're hating on it now, but when it comes out and that's the only thing that you're gonna get, you're gonna be praising it like it's the second coming. So
now unpopular opinion, but I almost think that after Dino Fury, they're going to shelve the product until the movie comes out. I actually don't think we'll get an animated series.
I see that happening too. I mean, like we've said before, I feel like they're going to follow the format that they do with Transformers. Like they might do an animated series, but they could easily live off of just making blockbuster movies every 2 years.
Yeah, I feel like they're like it'll take a break. We'll just have the comic books. We'll be lucky if they put something on YouTube,
Yeah.
But other than that, we're not hearing nothing until the movie comes out.
In the chat, I just shared a great Power Ranger feature article written by one of our writers, John Gatewood. Now, I want to go over this because it is a feature. Now, again, this isn't news. This is a feature. So a lot of you guys that are going to be like, oh, well, they reported on it's going to be the fucking Solar Rangers. That's not what we're saying. We're saying that this is an article that we're theorizing that it sounds very familiar. Now, the title of this article is Hasbro's Power Rangers movie bears strong similarities to the Solar Rangers storyline, right? John Gatewood's theory article about this is going to tie together. Now, I'm going to read parts of this article, maybe even the whole article, and then I want to get your guys' opinions, and then I would love to see what the chat says about this. Now, the Power Rangers have been morphing in and out of young children's homes and families for over the last 20 years. The Power Rangers franchise has had extremely high points, and they also suffered low points in times. Now, with the change of how families and children view the television programming, with the growth of streaming services, the ratings of Power Rangers are not as strong as they were in the 90s. Now, as the 2020s begin, we see a new direction for the franchise that has been placed in the hands of Hasbro, and we see what they want to do with the attempts on the show and leave their footprints in the Power Rangers universe. Now, Hasbro is working to bring some new blood to the mix with an ongoing movie project for the franchise. As reported by us, the Illuminerdi, Hasbro is working to make a new Power Rangers motion picture that will have no connection to the previous movie that was released in 2017. Now, let's take a step back for a moment and walk you through what we're talking about. Now, a look back at the 2017 movie. Now, first and foremost, before we continue on with this article. I want to get your guys' opinion. What did you guys think of the 2017 movie? And chat, I want you guys to chime in as well. Let us know what you thought about that.
I mean, I've said it before. Definitely when it came out, I enjoyed it. I think that the timing and the way that they formatted the show could have been fixed a little bit. But it's an origin story, so I don't know. Like around that time, also maybe a year or two before that, that Fantastic Four reboot came out, and I felt like it had the same type of format where we didn't get to see them fully in action towards the last 20 minutes or so. And I think that's a format that the director, wasn't a Israelite, thought that would work for this series, and how people like absorb sci-fi and science fiction like adaptions of comic books and TV shows. But then as we've seen with how MCU does their thing, they've taken chances and just went full on with some of their source material, like even the costumes and everything. And I think that they were so far into production with that Power Rangers movie that they didn't think that it would be they didn't realize that it would work. And I think that now that they know that, like, people are more open to seeing stuff so close to the source material, I think that the new movie is going to be great, and we're gonna see some actual good shit. Like, as far as like the casting, I love the casting. The casting for the 2017 Power Rangers was great, and I think that was the strongest part about the movie.
So in the chat, I just want to go over some of the things that the people thought about the film. Now, we got Kevin Epley. He says it was an awesome foundation and a great cast. Mikey Nerd Talk loved it. We Johnny's in here. He says if it was interesting and good and had good character development. Sam said, let me see, I just missed it. Sam said the 2017 movie was all right, but it was the same as a TV show, but different. Didn't like the Zords and Goldar. Nathan says he enjoyed the movie, liked the character work in it, understand some people wanted more action, thought the cast was really solid. Aaron says 2017 is the worst and best film they have done. I feel like there wasn't enough Power Ranger stuff in it, and I felt like the director just wanted it under his belt. Now, all great criticisms. Flash says he thought it was great story, good characters, were relatable. Maybe that it could have gotten a longer hand-to-hand fight, but he thought it was good. Corey, what'd you think?
Pretty much what Jezzer said. Also, like, it was almost like the movie was embarrassed that it was a Power Ranger movie, so they toned down the dinosaurs. Like, it was like the one thing that still bothers me is the mastodon dinosaur. I'm like, what? It's not even like an elephant, you know. I mean, they have the silhouette of the dinosaur, but it's not a dinosaur. So it's like, why do it, you know?
Right. Now, let's take a look back at the 2017 movie. John Gatewood's article, John, on the Illuminerdi.com. The link is in the chat. He also says the movie took a modern approach to the characters and settings that many of us grew up on in 93. It has moments, both good and bad, one being a new approach to the backstory of the original five. It also has some questionable moments, which is left to personal speculation. Now, the movie failed to make a profit. However, it did bring a variety of fans, young and old, but unfortunately, it was not enough to warrant a sequel. Now, follow me here, because I think we're going somewhere awesome here. Now, the movie made a crucial and necessary first step. Both this and the last Power Rangers was in 1997, and it didn't help the franchise. It almost killed the franchise. But before, however, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, Turbo did almost kill the franchise, that movie that we had there. So, we all have kind of shaky feelings about that. Now, it took the series on a fantastic leap in the theaters, and it was quite the feature for kids to watch. Now, looking back as an adult, it had some moments. So the question is now, what's the point of this recap? Well, the movie's made an impact. It may not seem like a big one or a great significance, but it made one nonetheless. Now, we're going to talk about the Hasbro moves in the future of Power Rangers and kind of discuss this a little bit. So, as of right now, though, is it fair to say that the movie in 2017 has been the best Power Ranger movie yet?
No.
Yes.
I don't
Jezzer?
think so. I think market-wise and Hollywood blockbuster style. I think that the '95 movie was better. Like it was more marketable for Hollywood, and I think that was because it was riding on the energy that the show brought, and I think that if you compare it to the 2017 movie, yes, you're gonna get less cheesy acting and all that, but that's what sells. Like, and that's why movies as bad as the Transformers films have gotten, that's why they still make millions and millions of dollars, is because they know that formula. And I think that the 2017 movie didn't have that formula. It was it was like Chronicle. It was exactly like Chronicle, or what's that movie where it's kind of like a reimagining of what would happen to Superman, Brightburn or something. It was.
Well, I'm not. If
Yeah,
I'm not,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it is Brightburn.
that's exactly what it was. It was a reimagining.
Mm-hmm. So it's like a reimagining of Power Rangers, and I think that they should have leaned in more to what people love about the source material, and not trying to force Power Rangers down a lot of viewers' throats. Like, I think that's where they went wrong, and I think that's why it wasn't well received by the fans, and it was overlooked by the mass audience. And I think that if they were I think the 2021 or 2022 film, if they're gonna lean into this whole time travel and fun plot that they're going to, I think that it may not be huge blockbuster numbers, but people will go out and see it because they want to see what they're trying to do with it.
Yes. So let's continue on now. Hasbro moves into the future of Power Rangers. Now, we have Hasbro working to follow and improve after 2017's release. Now, we have reported that the movie will be in the same continuity as the 28 years of Power Rangers and the world as we know it. Now, the movie will introduce characters. Not only will they have different types of powers and colors and Zords, but there's also a time traveling element to take them back to the 90s. So far, it sounds like Hasbro. By the way, I'm reading this. This is John Gatewood, a writer here at the Illuminerdi. This is his feature piece. It's not news, a feature. I just want to clear that up one more time because I don't want anyone jumping on this for this. Now, as far as it may sound like Hasbro is trying to give Power Rangers a Back to the Future motif for the film, it might not be the case. Fans and readers will recall that the two Power Rangers comics, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and Go-Go Power Rangers, had a comic event known as Shattered Grid. Now, the plot was a version of Tommy Oliver, who was recruited as the Green Ranger by Rita, continued onward as a warrior and evil, and was causing chaos amongst many worlds. Now, he was defeated, and the world had to be repaired. A spin-off of the events of Beyond the Grid features Rangers from various seasons, such as Zeo, Dino Charge, etc. Now, the Rangers travel together and to find a way to get back to their home and meet a new person that gives them a new power source, and then become the Solar Rangers to take on a new evil that is out there. So right off the bat, it does sound very familiar information we were given about the movie, at least maybe not exactly, but it almost seems like it was a testing ground a little bit, right? You guys see the similarities there?
Yeah. Almost
cool
like
story,
it was,
Corey. Cool story.
Yes.
I mean, I agree. That's here. Here. This is me elaborating on my yeah. Like kind of like the Dimensions in Danger episode. It was almost like it was inspired. You know?
Yeah.
Just real quick for you see the similarities between the Solar Rangers and this story. Are you able to see it a little bit?
Yeah, I can see where John was going with it. I don't know if they'd go full on with that storyline.
I don't think so either. But let's table that for a second. Let's continue on with John's theory here. Let's continue on with John's theory here. Now, where do the Solar Rangers fit into the story? Sound familiar? The story does sound awfully close to the potential plot of Hasbro's film. Now, this would be a great way not only to use previous teams of Rangers that have already aired over time, but it also gives us new characters in situations that we haven't touched upon yet. Now, the movie will be releasing different looks and Zords throughout the timeline. A major aspect of the Prometheus/Solar Rangers was also this kind of gimmick. Now, each Ranger in Beyond the Grid had their own Zord, and from their different series. Now, seeing those Zords once again reimagined on the big screen makes fans of the series who may remember Mighty Morphin Power Rangers as much as they may remember some series they watched like Power Rangers Dino Thunder or Samurai. So this does feel very familiar. Now, no matter what happens, the movie will make an impact, and it may not be Titanic or the Avengers, but the fans will go and support this movie, and it will make an impact no matter what. So let's keep our heads let's keep our heads in the game for this next adaptation of Power Rangers. So we can definitely see the similarities between the two. Do you think that it's possible that Boom Studios used this as a testing ground for a story that they wanted to do, or is it just so happens that it's coincidence?
I think it's just a coincidence. I think that as far as the movie side and the comic side and the TV side, they're all separate. They're all separate divisions, and I don't think, from my opinion, I don't think that they're working together. Just from what I can see. I mean, obviously, Lord Draven from Dimensions in Danger and Drakken from the comics. I think that if all three aspects, not just three, toys, movie, comics, TV shows, if they were all working together and we're all on the same page, I think that we would be in a better place. But I don't think they are. I mean, it's a solid article and it's a solid theory, but I don't think that's the direction that they're trying to go with it. I'm gonna be totally honest. Like when the movie news came out, I couldn't picture what was going on. I couldn't really figure out what they're trying to do with this film. It's gonna be it's definitely gonna be a gamble, but I mean, everything's worth a try, right?
See, I think I got it right off the bat because it felt very much like what they did with the Star Trek reboot back in like 2008 or whatever it was.
Yeah, but was it the Star Trek reboot wasn't connected back to the TV show after?
It was connected to the TV show because it was an alternate timeline that the original Spock ended up creating. He was in that alternate timeline.
But so did we see that go back, like, what is the CBS one? Did we see any effects of it in the CBS show?
Yes, we did. So the shows do touch upon it. I know Josh wants to talk about it, but that's what the Star Trek show is all about. But we do definitely see that happening. So the movies actually ended up being a huge part of going forward with the franchise.
Yeah.
If you look at what Star Trek has kind of done now, all their shows are either touching upon their legacy characters like Picard, or it's all kind of like revamped from what this movie universe created. So I'm really excited to see the direction.
Let me ask you a question, because you are a big Marvel guy. I mean, you worked with Marvel before. Initially, when Marvel came out with their Netflix series and their ABC series, they were all going to connect back to the movies and be fully incorporated in that. We see now that they're trying to lean more away from that. Connecting a movie series and a TV series, what are the pluses and minuses of that, or what are the, like, will it work? If Marvel, a big successful company couldn't make it work, what makes us think that Power Rangers could make it work?
Two things. Marvel was in a different predicament. So I'll explain Marvel's situation, and then I'll compare it to Power Rangers. So for a lot of you guys that don't know this, Marvel TV was actually ran by Ike Perlmutter, who was controlling the comics. Now, on the movie side, it was ran by Kevin Feige, who was the Marvel Studios president. Both were ran by two different entities. What ended up happening is Jeff Loeb and Ike Perlmutter had everything that they wanted in the TV universe. Now, Kevin Feige never openly said that this was going to connect to what he wanted to do, but they wanted to capitalize on the success of their films, so they moved into television. What made it harder for television is that the movie side would never necessarily tell them what was going on. So they had to adapt accordingly. For example, they created an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show right after the first Avengers movie. The second season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was right around the time that Captain America Winter Soldier came out, and it was the fall of S.H.I.E.L.D. It might have been second or third season.
Third, yeah.
But it was the fall of S.H.I.E.L.D. So in that third season of S.H.I.E.L.D., there was no S.H.I.E.L.D., and that really kind of it put the writers for the show on their toes. It was always a reaction to what the movie studio was doing. It's always kind of viewed as supplemental. Now, when we talk about the Netflix series, they were never really going to tie in with the movies because the movies didn't have any plans for those characters. Now, literally, Kevin Feige got first choice on all the characters he wanted to use. For example, a movie that Ike Perlmutter was pushing for was Inhumans. But that's why they put it on the slate so early for Kevin Feige. Once they removed that, they let it be its own TV show, and they tried to do a weird – I don't know if you guys remember this, but you remember the whole Inhumans theatrical experience? They were going to do the pilot in, like, IMAX theaters.
Yeah, we were there.
But the show crumbled. I was there. The show kind of crumbled, and it fell apart because it didn't have any kind of cohesion with the MCU. So what ended up happening is Ike Perlmutter then – lost his power, and Kevin Feige took over the whole branch. And that's why the Netflix series started getting canceled, and that's why we're kind of where we are now. Now, Kevin Feige is doing his own Marvel TV stuff, and that's what we're seeing on this Disney Plus platform with WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, all those Disney Plus Marvel shows. The only one that is still kind of left of the old guard, and we're not even sure if it ties in, we just wrote an article about it, is Hellstrom, which is going to be on Hulu. So that's going to be interesting. Now, I know I may have lost you guys going down this rabbit hole of the MCU, but there's a reason for it. So the reason why I'm talking about this is because it is very hard to keep a cohesive universe in television and in film all together. Marvel's trying to do it as best they can right now with all the new Disney Plus series. Now, for Power Rangers to really do this, they have to build a successful movie franchise first. It can't be the other way around. They already have a decent groundwork with the television show. They already have the lineage there. Now, if they're able to get it to a mainstream, wide-stream audience, it'll only benefit it. Because if you look at the trajectory of Star Trek, which parallels Power Rangers, it was a brand that had show after show after show after show. I believe it went from the 1960s on for like 4 years, 3 years straight. Then they had an animated series. Then they did a bunch of movies. Then they kind of shelved the property and actually the movies went parallel, and then they made Next Generation. And then after Next Generation, the story continued on for however many years it continued on. Power Rangers needs to do that successfully. They need to get this movie universe up and running, because now if you look at Star Trek, there's like 5 different shows, like 3 animated series, 3 to 4 shows in production. The whole world for Star Trek is booming again. And this is what Power Rangers should be doing. Taking a page out of that book, and it seems like they are. Now, I know I rambled on, so I'm sure that people in the chat have some comments. So, Jezer, what are people saying?
Let's see. They're talking about the DC universe. So they're talking about Doom Patrol was amazing. You should watch all the DC universe shows. I think they're trying to connect it back to see how they can. I mean, even with the DC universe, they made it perfectly clear that the Arrowverse and all that is not connected to the DCEU. What?
We did miss our opportunity. This should have been an SDCC at-home panel type of thing.
Yeah.
Type of show. It's actually we have a meeting tomorrow, which Corey didn't even know about. He's not in it, but this is going to be one of my things that I wanted to bring up. Is we totally should have made this an SDCC panel. Regardless, though, we are going to talk about, and now we are going to make it an SDCC panel with the 3 of us, at least for the next few minutes. Jezer, what else are people saying in the chat?
Yeah, New Mutants trailer was a shock. Sucks that Falcon and Winter Soldier got postponed. A lot of things got postponed. It's not just that. So it was only a matter of time before they announced stuff like that. I think what is it? Hollywood is pushing a lot of their production and their film releases at the least a year going forward.
Yeah. So right now we're in some are starting up fairly soon. I know that the Canadian productions for all the DC TV shows, they're about to start back up next month. And I know that we're still in this kind of figuring out stage for casting the Power Rangers, which is still currently happening. They're trying to figure that out. I know people want this Dino Fury news. They're trying to figure that out as we continue to go along. Heirloom says, all the DC shows have DC stories, but some have worked and some haven't. I feel like they knew that they knew what they wanted, and it's working a lot. So, yes, DC is a very particular thing. But Power Rangers, I feel that like they can reduplicate the magic that Star Trek, maybe some of these DC things had. But you know what? We got to get more eyes on the product, and I think that's the one thing. I know a lot of fans, and Corey, actually, this question is going to be for you, my friend. I know a lot of fans haven't been too happy with the way that Hasbro was rolling out their toy line. Can you talk to me about how that hurts or helps the brand?
First, just going back to that what is that thing? The Beast X King Morpher.
Yeah.
Is the biggest blunder, if you know what I'm talking
I
about.
don't know.
Yeah, I saw that.
The blue lion Zord that they got in Beast Morphers,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they called it with the device on the show doesn't look anything like the toy.
Wasn't the toy? It's just like a new glasses or something.
No, see, you're thinking of the custom visor,
Oh, okay.
the whatever upgrade visor that the Beast Bots turned into.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, yeah, and the whole advertising of the Beast X King Morpher made it seem like it was summoning that custom armor, and it wasn't. It was just a giant tool to call a new Zord. So everything that the devices did in the show, the toys didn't. It seemed off, you know? It's like, oh, that's in the show, but it works differently. But the whole thing about what Bandai does in Japan is that they're putting their toys in the show. And the way Hasbro is doing it is they're making toys of what's in the show, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so are you saying that, and correct me if I'm wrong, so I'm just trying to understand what you're saying here. You're saying that the show that they're making in Japan is essentially to sell toys, but the show that they're making out here is to sell more toys that they already made. Is that what you're saying, essentially?
No, okay. Like, let's say in Super Sentai they make a Morpher, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Morpher in the show, toy into the show. So however how the toy operates in the show, the toy does the exact same thing. Gotcha. Here in America, what they're doing is, oh, that's the Ranger, that's Ranger gear. So we need to make a toy of it. So they make a dumbed down version of that device, and it doesn't operate the same way as it does in the show.
But with a lot of those, and maybe this is a different perspective, just out of curiosity for you. How important is it for you for it to be as accurate as possible to the show? Because it's not like you're going around with your Morpher in your back pocket, like, you know what I mean, trying to
Corey is.
How Corey might be.
That's how it was. That's how it was growing up. Because I didn't always have the Power Ranger toys, so I made them. I used to make them out of cardboard when I was growing up. But then, when I did get some, I kept it during Zeal. I remember carrying my Zeonizer in my back pocket. Not my back pocket, my backpack. I had it. This fool laughing at me. I carried it around all the time, and it did the exact. I mean, thinking about, I don't remember the sound effects from the Zeonizer in the show, but it did what it did in the show, and I felt like a Power Ranger when I played with it. You know what I mean?
Now I want to talk about really. I want to interact us with that. I think that we did drop the ball with not doing this as a comment at home style panel, but let's do a free open form thing here. I want to talk about some of the merchandise that they want to see as fans of the franchise. Like, what do you guys want to see Hasbro make for you guys? Because I think that essentially, that's the kind of stuff that we want. I mean, everybody kind of has. I'm excited for every Lightning Collection figure that comes out. Like, I get more and more excited about it. However, like, I got a thing from Hasbro Post saying that my Green Ranger, my Green Psycho Ranger shipped, and I still haven't gotten it yet. But what do you guys want to see out of the franchise and Hasbro putting in with their products?
I want to see more role-playing stuff. That's always been my.
So he can take it to the bedroom.
Action figures. What?
Nothing.
Action figures never really done it for me. Like, I mean, I like Transformers. That's because they're robots. Zords. I want to see more Zord stuff. I like toy robots and role playing.
God, Corey, our collecting habits, we are polar opposites. I don't really care about the Zords. I know that a lot of people look. The ones that have leaked, the pictures we've seen look incredible, but they're just not really my bag. Me personally, I like the figures. I like collecting the figures.
No, it's something about tiny humans that don't do it for me. Like, I get them regardless, but I prefer buying Transformers.
So wait. So you essentially just prefer tiny robots instead?
Yeah, I just got a thing for toy robots. That's just my thing.
That is. I hope somebody makes a shirt that I have a thing for toy robots. This episode.
For me, I like attention to, like, I'm very like relaxed on paint jobs and all that, but I like accessories. So like this is probably one of my favorite figures that I got. It's not a Power Ranger figure, but it's a Casey Jones figure. And what's really cool is it comes with so many different accessories: golf club, hockey stick, 2 bats, a cricket stick, and then another hockey stick. Just having accessories to your figures, like, that's why I love some of these Lightning Collection figures, is they have all these extra stuff that comes with, like with the Blue Ranger, the staff was longer. With the I like these little animation or these little special effects things that they put with them. So yeah, it's like the accessories that come with the figures. When a figure has like multiple hands, that's how you know that they're really trying to put some work into it.
You should look into the new Transformers, like the War for Cybertron and Siege and Earthrise. There's so many.
No, with Transformer toys, the ones that I'm super excited for are the more high-end Beast Wars ones and the alternators. I love the alternators where it's like they look like car model or like, regular toy cars, like the models for them, but they transform into like classic characters that we know and love. Those are the ones I love seeing at like cons, like the alternators. I know they're super expensive, but those are the ones that I think are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hey, so usually on Power Rangers, and I was just thinking about this for Comic-Con, Power Rangers has like an on year and an off year. We happen to be in that off year this year because it's that casting part where it's like you don't necessarily know what's happening until we get to Con. So this year, though, I think that we probably would have gotten at Comic-Con more toy announcements that we started seeing. But we also probably would have gotten more comic stuff. Do you think that we would have gotten anything about the show? Like any news? Maybe?
No.
Like, because now, especially with the way that it was released in England or the UK, like all the episodes are already done. Do you think that there would have been a big team-up episode at this year's Comic-Con?
No. Not.
You don't?
I don't think so, no. I think that the best year for... in regards for Comic-Con and Power Rangers, I think the best year that they had was 2016, right before the movie came out. They had Power Rangers, the movie had their own booth. The cast was there. Power Rangers, the Power Ranger booth that Bandai had was busy. It was super busy. I think that was the best year that they've had in a while. I don't think we've ever saw it get to that point again after,
Do you think that why do you think that we haven't seen it at that point again?
Loss of, I think, they lost faith in the show, and as soon as Bandai lost it, Hasbro is such a big company that they weren't in a rush to just rebuild it. So I think that's one thing, and I mean, other things coming up, like other companies coming up. Marvel is a huge thing. What I have noticed with Power Rangers that they have been doing really well as far as when it comes to conventions. Boom Studios has been doing really well, working with conventions and bringing you stuff you want as far as like physical, like when they introduce a new comic book exclusive character, physical representation of those characters at cons is amazing. Like what, I don't know what happened. Like the last con, they were supposed to have the Omega Ranger helmets and suits, and they didn't. Oh no! It was the Ninja Turtle helmets. They're supposed to have the Power Ninja. Yeah, but the con got canceled, and I think Boom Studios and how they're handling the convention side of Power Rangers is commendable, and I think that's where probably the franchise needs to lean into as far as this little gap period that they have for the show. So like as soon as the show ends after Dino Fury, invest a lot of money into, or a little marketing into the comic books. But we don't even know, like, is it gonna stay with Boom Studios? I mean, knowing Hasbro, we know that they have a really good connection with IDW. Is it gonna stay with them? That's the thing.
Yeah, those are all great points, I think, that you made. I think that, look, I'm excited for what we have coming up. Actually, I want to make a small announcement. So I will hold off on this, but the okay from it, so I may as well. So I know we talked earlier about this, about the Kamen Rider show, and a lot of you guys have been really wanting this show, and we've wanted to bring it back for a long time. But the truth is, we wanted to do it with people that absolutely love it. So I want to just let you guys know, two people that are going to be joining us over at the Illuminerdi doing a new Kamen Rider show. It's going to be Heirloom and Toku Chris. They are going to be hosting that show. So it's great influencers in the community, great people with insight, and they are going to be doing amazing. So I can't wait for that Kamen Rider show to kick off with Heirloom and Toku Chris.
Oh my gosh.
They're going to bring a lot of insight to the world of Kamen Rider right here at the Illuminerdi. Those guys are great. And check out Heirloom's channel individually to get a taste of what he's like. So I think you guys are going to love him if you haven't checked him out. And if you already have, you already know how great he is. Him and Toku Chris. Toku Chris has been on the show tons of times.
Love Toku Chris.
So
and Heirloom.
So do I. So let's talk about going back to this a little bit. Now, something else, this is going to be a little bit left field, but I want to talk about this anyway. Hyperforce.
Oh.
Why do you think that we haven't gotten not even a sequel series, but even more reference to Hyperforce than we have? Because I feel like overall, people really liked Hyperforce.
I don't know. I have no idea. I think maybe it hasn't got a lot of people looking back at it because the format of it. I think that the format was, revolutionary, but I think that a lot, especially with new content on YouTube and Twitch and all that, like majority of the time for the masses, they want like quick, fast stuff. Asking someone to dedicate an hour and a half of time to a storyline is kind of hard, especially when visually there's not a lot to see.
Well, I'm going to challenge that because I'm putting together a Power Ranger RPG, but I might need some test subjects. So if you guys are down, I need to practice some of that DM skills. It's going to tie into our Cosmic Protector universe. Man, I've been diving into this world, and it is quite fascinating. I think once I can figure out the mechanics, I think the rest is going to be easy. But honestly, running an RPG, whole new respect for people that do like D&D, like game masters, because it's a lot more work than people probably think. And I think half of that is just understanding the mechanics. It's just understanding what you can and can't do as a GM.
And then being on your feet and knowing being a good storyteller. I think it's another strength that a DM has. And like realistically, there isn't too many people out there that have that skill. So when you find that dungeon master that like can really like push a story forward with just their mind and their improv, it really amplifies the whole experience.
Yeah. So the way that we're doing it's going to be a little bit different. I think that the way that we're kind of creating it is going to be a little bit different, but it's going to play the same way an RPG would, and I'm excited to just test it out. So any of you want to check out what we're doing over there, check out our Patreon. But if you also want to just kind of test it with us, maybe on Josh is currently building a Discord. So once that's all ready to go, maybe I can go in Discord and get a few people that have joined our Discord in there and do like a little sample run of what we're going to do. Because I've created this, it's just we're getting all the D&D stuff, are getting all the right mechanics together, which I find it's very hard.
Flash, you always ask this question every week. Do you guys think Fury is still on track? Dino Fury is still on track to air in March? You literally ask this every week.
Dino Fury's just reported. It just broke. They just announced it at Comic-Con. It's getting canceled. I can't believe it.
He was the way he was saying, I was like, oh, he's got news? Like
that crowd drives me freaking nuts.
Yeah. Cannot believe this got canceled. Now, I'm just kidding. I'm excited for Dino Fury. I think it's going to be something pretty cool. If done correctly, there's a lot of missteps that can easily happen. Also, you know what? I want to bring back a Super Sentai show. But here's the thing I want to do. I almost want to do like a retro Super Sentai show, almost a compilation of how they're doing like the retro Power Ranger stuff. I'd love to do a retro Super Sentai show, but I also would love to do a Super Sentai show. But we're far out from that. We just announced a dang Kamen Rider show, which I'm really excited about.
What'd you call it? Toku Chris just had a kid, and I don't know if he was kidding or not, but his kid's name is Kamen Rider.
His kid's name is Cameron. I'm not sure if it's Kamen Rider, but it is.
Kamen Rider or something.
That is amazing. That is so cool, and the fact that his wife like signed off on it is amazing. That's just great.
Who's Cameron?
That's his, huh? No, because it sounds like Kamen.
Oh, I didn't even notice
my
that.
God.
Yeah, that is.
He it wasn't intentional.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't intentional.
That is awesome, dude. Hey. Honestly, Toku Chris is going to be forever immortalized. Cameron Rider's a sick name.
That could be the American adaptation of Kamen Rider, you know.
The
Kamen Rider. I'm Cameron, and I turn into these bug costume guys.
I've been trying to take a deep dive and catching myself up on a little bit, or catching myself up on a little bit of Kamen Rider. So I'm excited about what we have in store for that. But I think if Kamen Rider were adapted in the United States, do you guys think it would be as successful, or do they have to kind of mature it a little bit?
They have to figure out Power Rangers before they start trying to reach out.
Well, let's take it out of Hasbro. Let's just forget about the connection between Kamen Rider and Power and Super Sentai. Just on its own, do you think it could work in the United States?
Dragon Knight was fine. It just went in a weird way, and then again, because shows like that are, we got to sell the toys. The toys weren't great either. So
I don't think so. I honestly don't think it'd work. I think that
I think Toku shows could work, and it's really all about the writing.
No,
really.
When it comes to kid shows, this live action format isn't what people go for. I mean, right now kids are all for like these fast action, fast pace, ADD style cartoons, and I think that's the format that's the only format that they could absorb. I mean, I know Teen Titans Go is fun, but I enjoyed the regular Teen Titans and them making a Go format. I call it the Go format, the dumbed down version, because big kids channel network execs don't think that kids are able to absorb deep storytelling, and I think that's just the format that shows on TV are now. If Kamen Rider was going to be like a streaming show, maybe, but if it's going to be on network, no, I don't think so.
Jaden Grove says, I think that they're seeing how Dino Fury goes, and they wouldn't cancel Power Rangers after they just got a new show. That's actually not true.
Here we go.
So. The reason I want to say that is, can you name any executive producer, any showrunner of Power Rangers that wasn't in the original era of that Saban era? Name a showrunner that's lasted more than one season on Power Rangers.
I don't know.
It was the same person, wasn't it?
So we obviously know what's his face, Chip Lynn, and we also know Douglas Sloan and Jonathan Zacher. Those are the three from that Saban era. There's only been like two other executive producers in Power Rangers, and that's Eddie Gazillion, and that's homeboy from SPD, Greg Aronowitz.
Ooh, he's hitting you with facts there, Jared. Or no, what's Jaden?
Eddie Gazillion was literally given the show for that season and said, you could pretty much do what you want because we're going to cancel it next season.
Well, the thing that let me say this. The thing that I see a lot of fans keep saying, and I think I may have said this last week. Why would they spend all this money just to cancel it? X-Men, Fox's X-Men. They bought the franchise, and they're not continuing with the story. Because you know why? Because the story was dog shit. I was watching Apocalypse the other day on Disney Plus. That shit pisses me off. How are you gonna take a character like Angel or Archangel and turn him into a fucking fuckboy? Like, dude, he's supposed to be like this angelic, like pristine, like man, like this amazing man. Or same with, I don't know why, but Olivia Munn. She didn't remind me anything of Psylocke in that film. You know who she reminded me of? Frickin' Sindel from Mortal Kombat Annihilation. I have no idea why. I can't pinpoint why that they have the same type of body language or how they're doing. But yeah, I mean, when people say, "Oh, why would they spend so much money just to cancel it?" Because they're reinventing it. That's what they're doing with X-Men. We're not going to see X-Men for another maybe 5-6 years. Realistically, we're not going to see X-Men for 5-6 years.
So wait, are you saying that the New Mutants movie's never coming out?
Well, that's New Mutants. I don't know.
Not this year.
No, so yeah, so like as soon as Hasbro like gets their hands on, or like once they finish Dino Fury, realistically they're just gonna scrap it until they can figure out a better way to do it. That's just the name of the game. And the fact that like I always see him on Twitter and like, well, why would they do that? Why would they? Because business wise it makes sense. Why are you gonna keep doing the same shit over and over and waste so much money into something and it's not producing for you? Why? Well, that's so stupid. So, moving to comics and moving to animated and moving to movies that you can actually have full control over makes sense. And I don't understand how the fans are just like, oh no, they wouldn't spend millions of dollars and do that. They spent like freaking quadruple the cost on Peppa Pig. Are you kidding me? Get it through your thick skulls. And like, you guys are so blinded by nostalgia that you're not realizing outside of Power Rangers, Hasbro is a company that's trying to be profitable, and continuing on with this format for a show is not profitable. So yes, they would cancel it. Just plain and simple, X-Men. Fox's X-Men. It's gone. We're never going to see that again. We're not going to see anything. We're not going to revisit the Dark Phoenix cast, which is sad because I remember when we went to they were promoting Dark Phoenix at WonderCon a few years ago. And like I was just thinking the whole time as Joe's interviewing, it's like, man, they're never going to play these characters again. That's the same situation.
Me and Cyclops had like a moment. Like we were like buddies, you know what I mean?
We interviewed Dark Phoenix like 3 times. The cast of Dark Phoenix 3 times. It's a waste. It's a waste because we knew what was going to happen. Absolutely. It's crazy.
I just want to. I mean, Jester's completely right. You couldn't have said it better about the X-Men thing because that's the same thing. Almost.
Yeah.
So I do, and we're going to do a video series on this. But I know to clear this up for a lot of you guys that are in here that may not. That say that we're fake news, whatever it may be. So I'm going to go over just some of the exclusives. We only have 8 pages, but I'll just go over the status of them and where they're at, just so you can get a better gauge of our accuracy. Now, we did a Gossip Girl exclusive character breakdowns. We can say that is unconfirmed because there's no update on that. Mighty Ducks Disney Plus that revealed that Emilio Estevez is returning to the team. Guess what? That was confirmed. We got, I'm not going to go through all these. We have a lot of these that are all pretty accurate, but we do have a Watchmen one that's not Watchmen one, I'm sorry, Matrix 4 one, because the movie's not out yet. Character descriptions for Cassian Andor unconfirmed because that has not started shooting yet. Eric Frank was going to be the original Gold Ranger. That is confirmed because JDF said so himself. Let's see. Clea being in Doctor Strange 2 unconfirmed because the movie's not done yet. Amelia, we have a ton of these, but even on Power Rangers, this is back in January that Ryu Soldier. We were telling people in January that Ryu Soldier was going to be the new season, and here we are.
You went through and did all that?
I mean, I went through and did. There's a ton of exclusives, but I went through and looked it up on our website, and I even went back to hashtag show stuff. I went back and every exclusive that we have on our website is either unconfirmed or 100% accurate.
Yeah.
There is nothing yet to this date, that is said otherwise from anything we've reported. Nothing. I challenge every single person to go on our website and check out our exclusive.
One of the comments here says, then why does it say 2 seasons and 44 episodes? Okay, that's fine, 2 seasons, but it's still going to be called Dino Fury. So after Dino Fury, Beast Morphers is still called Beast Morphers. There wasn't a second season called Super Beast Morphers. So when we say after Dino Fury, that could be possibly the end for the toy deal that they have. So after Dino Series, depending on how many seasons that they go, the facts are still the facts. So like you're coming at us with 2 season 44 episodes. First off, that's what.
confused by that too. I was like, well, what does he mean?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's still called Dino Fury. It's not like it's still one season of it, or it's 2 seasons. But
also you got to look at where this is coming from, because it's either on Wikipedia or Ranger Wiki. By the way, neither of which Hasbro owns, so that is also unconfirmed news.
I could create a wiki. I could create a wiki right now and just edit that stuff right now. So we're gonna make it go for 25 seasons. Dino Fury is gonna be 25 seasons. It's gonna be 130,000 episodes. There you go, Jaden Groves, or whatever the hell your name is.
Look, I think that I think that what happens is a lot of people can say what they want. Essentially, they can say it's fake. You know why though? It's because they're too lazy to read the actual fucking article. So here's what happens. I think a lot of people take headlines and then they, for some odd reason, they take the headlines and they don't even take the headline accurately. They no pun intended, morph it into a narrative that they want to tell, whether or not they're wrong or right. I'll give you a great example. And a lot of you guys in the chat, now it's time. So one of the things that I saw along the way when we were doing all this Power Ranger news was that we did a live stream probably like 4 years ago. And at that time, we were talking about some of the people that they had reached out to for coming back to the show. And this is when they did Dimensions of Danger. So they were shooting in New Zealand, and yes, they reached out to a ton of people to come back, and then they took the deals off the table and used the cast they wanted to use. Again, we reported the same thing for this Dino team up, and you know, it's kind of like they wanted to use that bit of the stream. Well, you said this person's coming back, this person's coming back. No, I didn't. I said those people were offered to come back, just like I did for the last one. So it's very easy to take what I said out of context. Never once did I say definitively all these people are coming back. I never said that. And even on some of the website stories that I've seen, like there was one about how, and I mentioned this last week, about how we reported that there was a coinless series the fans knew about, but we were the ones who reported it, and it got dropped because we leaked it. It wasn't true whatsoever. Wasn't even close to being true. What we did is we wrote an article about it that another outlet already wrote. So we were just, it was Newsarama. We were just reporting their news, and Kyle Higgins was literally saying that once Hasbro took over the deal, they didn't want to do it anymore. That was the extent of the story. So I feel that like one out of two things are happening. A, either people are just not educated enough to open up the article and read it. And by the way, I just want to clear this up very quickly. When people say, well, they're just putting this information out to get clicks, you're goddamn right we are. Here's the deal. Like, honestly, that's the name of the game, and that is just business. Of course we were trying to get clicks, but we're not clickbaiting you. We will stand behind every single story that we have. And I challenge anyone in the Power Ranger community to find any Power Ranger information that we ran exclusively that ended up not being true. I would challenge any Ranger fan to show me that evidence, because I can show you our evidence. And like I said this before on previous streams, we might not be the Power Ranger show for you, and that's okay. With that being said, if you don't know who we are, let us earn your trust. If that's not enough, and if our track record isn't enough, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you can just wait until you don't get news from Hasbro then. But other than that, you know, we're here. This is very much a thankless job. With that being said, I appreciate all the supporters in here that have been checking us out and analyzing this with an open eye, because I do appreciate every form of influencer or journalist out there that is actually taking the time and broke down the article and read it and take what they want from it, because that is their job. That is what they do. I love the honest analysis of a lot of the folks that I talked about in that stream with Michael Louie, like Erlem and Eric Barry and Toka Chris, everybody, Ranger Liz, Orange Ranger videos, everybody that was a part of that. So I appreciate that. With that being said, I challenge you, and I'm specifically talking to Jaden Groves. Now, Jaden Groves, I don't have any issues with you. I'm super happy that you're a fan of the franchise, and I see your passion. You want to see it continue on. With that being said, just read the article. Open up the story and stop hearing it secondhand. This goes for a lot of those folks on Facebook, Twitter. I don't care. Again, the proof is in the pudding. I strongly recommend checking out our exclusives, especially here on the Power Ranger show, Power Ranger content, and please show me an exclusive that we have been incorrect about. I would truly appreciate that. So there you go.
I mean, I'm not totally surprised because I mean, a lot of this generation gets all their like political news from memes and believe it when the framework behind memes is that anybody can create it, anybody could input those numbers in there and people will run with it because it's a very nice put together meme. And I think that's the situation. I think that they read the headline and they just run with it. The perfect example is, when we were kids, I don't know if you guys played this in gym, but we'd have like a line of people of like 30 people. And then you'll have one person whisper something to someone in another person's ear, but change one thing, and then they'd go down the whole line and see how different the story is from the first person to the last person. It's the same situation when people base their information off of the title. Write an article or write a post about it, and then another person writes an article and a post about that, it changes. So plain and simple, read the article. Read the article.
I actually want to address somebody, the Power King in here. He says, don't know why they sound angry all the time when they're not angry. That's fair. You confuse anger for passion. That's completely fine. Now he also says, then they're belittling people, which we're not doing. We're just literally saying, read the article instead of reading the headline. Because I feel like that's where a lot of the confusion comes in. So we're just suggesting, look, like I said, I read this thing not too long ago that it was about, it was something about COVID, and it was a meme that somebody had just made up that was completely made up, and people were believing it. And he was like, I made this up just so you morons, and I'm not calling anybody a moron, but this is what this post said, just because people are getting their news from memes. Read news, read the articles, and then formulate your own opinion. That's what we always stand for, is formulating your own opinion. That's all it really comes down to. And look, if people want to live kind of naively about certain situations, that's completely fine too. Then you'll just be surprised later. You'll figure it out for yourself. But yeah, I think that's what it is. Jaden says, I am, but you said it's your opinion that it should go animated, and it says that exactly in the article. That is not a fact. And we never stated it as a fact. That's why it says it in the article, opinion. I mean, it literally said that, like you said. It says that is an opinion in the article. But that doesn't change the information that we were still given.
Tell Jaden right now, here and there, what the actual fact is that you stated in the article.
So essentially, the article was, the first part of that article was essentially that Bandai, Hasbro, and Toei are no longer going to be continuing their deal together once their contract expires.
That's it. That's it.
The rest of that is speculation, which you clearly said yourself. So at that point, you know what I mean? Like, it's more of a debate than anything else. But I just feel that, like, once you take a step back and kind of ingest everything, it makes a little bit more sense. But also, on the flip side of this, I think it's kind of cool that you get the fans talking about things that are going on, because let's be honest,
they weren't talking before.
Outside of the stuff, the stuff, the figure stuff, the action figure stuff, and the comic book stuff, we haven't gotten a ton of Power Ranger news to really talk about. And I mean, I felt that our story actually got Power Rangers like trending again for a brief moment.
Split second, yeah.
For a split second. And it was kind of like interesting to be a fan again. But, it's fun.
It is what it is.
But yeah, that was that. But what else we got? We're going to get out of here pretty soon, but let's do some rapid fire questions.
All right, let's see.
Those are always fun.
Read. You guys got questions? Matthew Thompson's not a question, but he says, they are only in business to make money. That's horrible. How dare you? I think he's joking. But it's true. A lot of businesses are businesses because they make money. If you go to business school, I technically am still in business school. That's like rule number one. Why start a business if there's no space to grow, or there's no space for growth, or to actually make a profit? Is it possible that Hasbro and Toei split could mean that Toei can go move to E1? Joe?
Highly doubtful. I mean, I feel like I don't see that I don't personally see that happening. I guess anything's possible, but I personally don't see that
Should a main focus in Power Rangers in the future be fixing their canon? I don't think they're gonna waste time trying to fix canon.
No.
You know, that's an interesting one because essentially you would have to go back through every single season and kind of make it cohesive. And I just don't see that happening.
Our buddy Jaden says, "Who is Michael Lombardo?"
I have no idea.
I don't know what you're talking about. You guys think you will ever see the Master Morpher again in live action show? I don't think so.
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
And it only the Master Morpher only connected to JDF's character or someone else holding another Master Morpher?
I don't know, but I don't think we're done seeing Master Morphers yet. And I almost would venture to say that I almost think that we're going to see a Master Morpher Hasbro toy way sooner than we will later.
Thomas DeCoste says, "How long will Dino Fury be?" Well, according to Jaden Groves and that Wikipedia page, 44 episodes.
Seems like a guess.
Yeah, just want to be clear. I was joking for sure. I agree with what Jezzer said. Business is a business, yes. The Blur. Who is the leader of Cosmic Protectors? That would be me.
If we're talking pre, you'll see. I think half of it's me and the other half is Daniel, but it'll make sense later on. I'm a huge Transformers fan. Just learning about Power Rangers now. How do you feel about the universe coming together?
Oh, still waiting.
Well, I think it will. I totally think Power Rangers and Transformers. There's no way that they're not going to mix those universes together.
I love this shirt.
No way.
I love this shirt. Do you still have this shirt? This is
what shirt?
This is the Cosmic Protectors or freaking Q Ranger shirt that Larry got us.
Oh yeah, I still have mine.
Fucking love it. This is Stingers.
Well, it's that's just the color that you wear too, Jezzer.
Yeah.
In this, I am the leader, and yes, I am the leader in the beginning. But you'll see what happens.
You'll see.
It's pretty cool. Though.
So because Toei still owns a chunk of Power Rangers, so because they're not working with Hasbro, do they not still own it?
Why do
because
people
they still own it in Asia?
Why do people what?
Why do people think that?
Think what?
What do you mean?
That since Toei owns the Super Sentai, that they don't own Power, that they would own
Power Rangers.
That they would own Power Rangers. Why do people think that?
I don't know.
They do.
Toei owns
What?
Power Rangers?
Yeah, they don't own it, but they get money from it because it's theirs.
Oh, for sure, and that's going to continue on. That's a deal that was made a long time ago, and it's not theirs.
Yeah. And then Power Rangers and Super Sentai in Asia is called Power Rangers. So Super Sentai
when you would
is labeled Power Rangers.
But look, I don't know how their licensing deal worked out because it is different from place to place. For example, and I've used this as an example a lot, is that with are you familiar with Batman 66? So you know that Batman 66 was produced by Fox, right? So you know that, but Batman, the actual character, is owned by Warner.
Ooh.
But now, since Fox was just bought out by Disney, it doesn't mean that the character and Batman revert back to Warner Brothers, and they can't do anything with Batman 6. Batman 66 is now owned by Disney. It's the only DC character that is owned by Disney.
I thought they figured that out already. Didn't they fix that?
Batman 66 is currently owned by Disney. It's the only Warner Brothers property that is owned by Disney. It's very similar to the way that the Power Ranger and toy deal, I believe, is structured as well.
Mm.
So, another question. Do you think adult fans will get some love in form of a Netflix series or an animated series, or do you think it would just be geared towards kids?
I would strongly hope that we do get a series. I was just having a conversation yesterday that I think that Power Rangers has obviously, there are older fans out there that respect the lineage of the franchise. I don't understand why they couldn't take a chunk of 3 to 5 years and foster that audience and let the storytelling kind of mature. And then once you guys get it, once Power Rangers gets it to a peak, do that again with a new generation. I feel that Doctor Who does a really good job at that. Star Trek does a really good job at that. I don't know why Power Rangers can't do a good job at that.
Yeah,
I mean, that's how they started in the early Saban era. And then once Disney took it, it was like a hard reset every year.
Yeah.
What's that?
Did you guys not hear me?
No, what did you say? What did you say?
I said at the original Saban era, that's how it was. The show grew with the audience. Once Disney bought it, it was like a hard reset every year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited for. I think the future of Power Rangers is going to be. Yeah. So here's another one. Matthew Thompson. It's interesting that Gotham was also on Fox. I wonder if that's something to do with Batman 66 deal. Gotham was on Fox, so I don't know. I think that's just because they licensed it out. I think that one was just developed for Fox. I believe that there's another one too, Pennyworth, which is Alfred. That's on Starz. So it just seems like the Batman franchise.
It's not on Flick. What is it? What's that show? It's on Flicks or something. I can't remember what the channel was called. I don't think it was Stars. But yeah, just certain properties and characters can move throughout different companies. It's just.
What is that? A toy? Oh, it's your Casey Jones toy.
Yeah, sorry, I'm messing with it. But yeah, I mean that's where we're at. I'm just scared that I won't like it. Like it. Yeah.
Listen, I get that, Jaden. I understand that. That, I think that initial fear is it's interesting because I feel that sometimes about a lot of properties I love too. Now, now that we just have a lot of people that watch us in here, I appreciate you all, by the way. What's some more programming that you would like us to do? Because now we're getting more numbers, and we would really encourage you guys checking out any other content we have that may interest you, because I think it's going to help support everybody. But what other kind of content do you guys want to see us do? I know that there's been talks about bringing After Darks back, which a lot of us old cast members really like that format. We know that there's other shows in the works, but I'm very curious to see what you guys want to see on this channel that we can just do for you guys. Thea Game says, do you think Nickelodeon and Hasbro would have maybe updated their contract to include better TV promotion for the show?
No.
Possibly. I mean, I don't think that that's the case. I just think that business-wise, I think that Saban wanted to just have a TV deal to continue to make the show. Once they acquired Nickelodeon, I don't think that they were necessarily as worried about the back-end promotion of that. And I think that's just the deal they kind of got stuck with, and that's where we are now. I certainly hope that Power Rangers and Hasbro figure out or really land in a place, if they continue on the series, really land in a place that is really going to help them out with the promotion of the show. Because I think the more stuff like that, the better off they are.
Wait, first off, Mikey says TMNT. Me and Joe have been talking a lot, and he always asks me if I want to do a TMNT show. I tell him every time that I would love to do a TMNT show, but there is content that comes out for TMNT with comics and all that, but I think there's not enough. Maybe once they get another successful animated show going, and maybe once we get that, is it Seth Rogen Ninja Turtle show movie going? Maybe I'll do a segment where I just keep you up to date with what's going on with the new TMNT movie. I would love to do, because I'm actually friends with a lot of people involved with the original movie, so I'd love to maybe work with them. But I mean, yes, I would love to do a show, but the content has to be there. I don't want to leave you guys hanging a lot, if I wanted to do a weekly or monthly show. What else? Toku Kid says we should get game videos like party games like Mafia and board games. I mean, we're trying to do that. And I don't know if you guys follow us on Twitch, but we had that one game, what was it? It was Jackbox games. That was fun. That was fun to do. Matthew Thompson says, I want Jezza to host a business school series. I'm still trying to figure out what's going on with business schools, so I don't know if I can dub myself a master of it. Bring back the hub for Hasbro exclusive streaming. Okay. I mean, I don't know if that's something that they're gonna look into. I think
that was great. I love the when it was around.
I think with the acquisition of was it E1 or their little thing they're doing with E1, I think eventually we're gonna figure out what their plan is. Can you guys do a show on Transformers? Ironically, I did. Corey, what did I text you? Like, I did text you.
What was it, like a podcast of Transformers?
Yeah, we were talking about maybe doing like a podcast or a revisit of the original show. So if you guys,
Honestly, I think that might be a cool slot for like almost like a throwback era kind of like show where we do Ninja Turtles or Ninja Turtles, Transformers, kind of like stuff. That'd be kind of fun.
Like a
I know you were thinking about it.
Retro look back at some of those shows. Dragon Ball Super manga show. We have to find the people perfect for that.
Well, we are going to be doing an anime show very soon. But we're still working out we're going to fine tune that.
I actually want a show to include more behind the scenes of the Illuminerdi. It's surprising to see that there is a ton of people that want to see that. I think once quarantine and this pandemic happens, I'll shoot some behind the scenes stuff and then you guys can watch it.
Maybe I should shoot some behind the scenes stuff too and edit because it's like tomorrow there's a meet. It's gonna be interesting. I don't know.
The Illuminerdi Pop channel is brilliant for Power Rangers, and I want to see Digimon be in a pop as well. Pop? Oh, are you talking about like pop figures? I don't. Like, do you want to do like a?
Respect. We might be doing a DC show pretty soon. I know that we've been talking about some of those ideas. So we have a few ideas, and they're not just going to all be like this kind of style show. Some of the new shows are going to be very, very different.
But I mean, also like a lot of the people that are involved within Illuminerdi have things that they're involved with. I know Tatiana has the Flash podcast. So if you guys want to dive deep into that type of stuff, check that out. Or who else? We have there's just individual.
We have Migdalia when she's on. She has a Will Smith podcast.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a ton of content available to you. It's just like we always say, follow us on our social medias and we'll keep you updated with that type of stuff.
A Marvel show is definitely coming. We're working out the details with that cast right now, and I think it's gonna
and I mean,
I think that
even for X-Men, Joe and Daniel and Tony and Brandon have a X-Men podcast, which is a lot of fun. So if you guys want to like revisit the animated X-Men series, you guys should go check that out. There's a ton of stuff. And if you want to see like sexy women modeling stuff, you can go check out Corey's stuff.
But here, we're gonna leave pretty soon. I do want to ask everybody in this chat. Let me try to win you over on Star Trek. So we have a show coming up in about 15 minutes with Eric Berry from Ranger Command Power Hour. It's called the Riker Maneuver. We're currently doing Star Trek Enterprise. We're only going to be on episode 4. 3. It's technically episode 4 on Netflix, though. Yeah. It's considered episode 4 on Netflix. It's going to be a lot of fun. Look, it's still very new, so I recommend joining in on the. Let me try to convince you how good this show is, because if you're a Power Ranger fan, I highly recommend that you come and start the journey on Enterprise with us, because it is a lot of fun. So please come and join me, Josh, and Eric Berry on that. But I think that's going to do it for us. What can everybody find y'all on social media?
Corey?
C. Gibson Rex, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Add me on PlayStation too.
I'll add you on PlayStation. Let's play some games right now.
All right.
You can find me on all social media at JezzerZeus.
You can find me in about 15 minutes right here on the Illuminerdi with Josh and Eric Berry from Ranger Command Power Hour talking about Star Trek. Please come in, at least pay us a little bit of a visit to check us out in there, and also support us and follow us on all social media. Tomorrow we have the Retro Ranger wrap-up. They're going to be doing Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, and it's the first episode. So if you're not familiar with the way that we cover retro, Daniel, Ellen, Josh, it's a great jumping on point tomorrow. And we're also going to be doing wrestling with Jay, Nate, and our new guy, Pumps, who really dives deep into that other wrestling besides WWE. It's Japan and all this other stuff. So join us over there tomorrow in about 10 minutes for Star Trek. Thank you so much for joining us. Also, please hit that like button and share out this video and hit that notification so you can be updated when we go live. I suggest hitting that notification button mainly because we're going to be dropping some more exclusives this weekend. Not going to tell you when, but they are going to be going up this weekend. So stay up to date and hit that notification button and give us a subscribe. Thank you guys so much for joining us this Saturday on the Ranger Wrap-Up. We truly appreciate it. And Heirloom and Toku Chris, welcome to the family. We love you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and I'll see you guys in just a little bit over at the Riker Maneuver. Take care, guys.
Are we done?